What's up guys? Today's topic, triceps. Most people don't understand how the tricep actually works. And they don't know how to train it to get the optimal progress, make the actual progress, get there fast. I want to make sure that you're not one of them. What this video will do for you is equip you with the knowledge to train the tricep effectively, properly, so you can stop wasting your time on these suboptimal exercises, wondering why you're not making progress. Once you watch this video, you know exactly what to do, why you're doing it, and you can implement this into your program, get some great results for your triceps. Now I know triceps, not the most fun muscle to train. I don't really like it personally. It's kind of like the boring muscle of the arm, like biceps, really fun to train, do your curls. It's a cool muscle, then you get the triceps and you're like, gotta do triceps now. You see what I'm saying? But sadly, the triceps is much more important for the overall size of the arm. The tricep makes up like 2/3 of the whole arm. So if you want to have like a big arm look, big in your t-shirts, really fill out those sleeves, you're gonna need to train your triceps, and it's gonna be much more important than training your biceps. It's an important muscle, but it's not really fun to train. Probably, maybe you like it. Then even better. What we want to do is pick the most optimal exercises. So we want to avoid redundancy, we want to avoid doing two exercises that basically do the same thing. We want to have these varied exercises that target all of the different parts of the triceps, and then we can minimize the time we spend on this, and the time we do spend, the minimal time we do spend, is as effective as possible. And that's gonna get us the best results. So this is not just like for people who are like, I don't like training triceps. This is good for you because you're gonna minimize the time you spend. But even if you like triceps or you don't really care, it still is important to really like keep the amount of volume, the amount of effort you put in as low as possible, because you want to have a low stimulus to fatigue ratio. So what that means is, even if you really enjoy training triceps, you still wouldn't want to do too many exercises that are redundant, because it's gonna be too much fatigue that isn't worth the extra stimulus that you get. So tip number 1 is actually prioritizing the right part of the tricep. Now, I said before we want to hit all of the parts of the triceps, and that is true, but there's one part of the triceps that is much more important than the rest. So first we have to think about how the tricep is built, you can say. So the tricep, as you can think, is a muscle group that is comprised of 3 muscles. You have the medial head of the triceps, the lateral head, and the long head. The long head of the tricep is the most important one. This is the one that's on the inside of the arm. This is the one you really feel when you extend your arm behind your body, right? Because this part of the tricep is also somewhat involved in extending the shoulder backwards. So, contrary to what people thought before, for example, two of the most common long head exercises for the tricep were the katana extension and the skull crushers. And we now understand that those aren't optimal for the long head. What you want to do is, the way you target the long head best is when you have a tricep extension that extends your arms at the side of your body, behind your body, right? This is where the long head has the biggest advantage. This is where it's trained most effectively. And then to train the medial and lateral head as well, we can do the JM press, as you can see me doing here. Now, the medial and lateral head is best targeted when you have your arms anywhere from here to here. So as long as they're in front of the body. Once they're behind the body, this is long head. And as soon as you put them in front of the body, anywhere here in this plane, this is where the lateral and medial head are trained. So I chose the JM press because it has a lot of stability. Great exercise overall. You can put a lot of strain on those muscles here. You could also do katana extensions. This is like an alternative, but I chose this one today. You really see me not coming down all the way, because the lateral and medial head have the best leverage at the top of the movement, and I'm just keeping my elbows in tight, really staying stable, and that's it for this movement. If you combine these two, you're pretty much set for your whole tricep. What you really want to think about, and this is tip number 2, is using good technique. On triceps, I found that it's really easy to cheat, because when you don't know the actual anatomy and how it works, it's easy to do these. You think, yeah, it's just about straightening out your arm, and you can do some cheating movements that might not be optimal for development. Now, what I usually see is that people rotate their arm outwards. As you can see me doing here in this video, this is when I was not doing the exercise perfectly. I'm rotating out the arms. Now in this exercise I want to target the long head, which would be best done if I had my arms to the side all the time. But because my muscles are too weak at this point, I rotate out my arms outwards and involve more of the lateral and medial head, which is not the scope of this exercise. So for our last tip, this is if you want to get really like the last bit of growth out of your training as possible. So we're gonna be using intensity techniques to really push the limits of what we can do. Now on this exercise that I've chosen here, the intensity technique that we're employing is the mechanical drop set. A mechanical drop set is basically like a drop set. We're making the exercise easier, but not by lowering the weight and extending the set that way, but by biasing a different part of the contraction. That's where the muscle is still strong enough to do the same weight, or even in a partial range of motion. So this is one of my favorite ways of increasing the intensity of our sets. And as you can see, I'm starting out standing rather far away from the cable stack, doing my tricep extensions. And you'll notice that almost at the very end of the contraction of the triceps, that's where the 90-degree angle between the cable stack and the arm is occurring. And whenever we have a 90-degree angle between the cable and the arm, this is where the tension is the biggest. So this is to really fatigue the shortened position of the triceps, because every muscle is weakest in the shortened position. So if we start off with that, we can finish off this position, and it's gonna be rather soon that we can't do any reps on this. And once we are fatigued in this position, we move in a little bit closer to the cable stack, and now this 90-degree angle is occurring a little bit earlier, so the mid position is now biased. And in this position we are still a little bit stronger than in the shortened position, so we can do some more reps. And then once we can't do any reps in this anymore either, we move in very close to the cable stack and we do partials in the lengthened position. Now the 90-degree angle is occurring very early in the movement and we can't really get past that, but we still have some strength left in us, so we do the partials and finish off the tricep complete. This is just one example of using the intensity technique to make your training more effective. If you combine these 3 tips, so choosing your exercises to target exactly the parts of the triceps that you want, then using the proper technique to where the execution is perfect, your muscle fibers are actually getting activated, and then lastly, to really put your tricep training into overdrive, you use these intensity techniques. This is pretty much all you need for tricep development, and if you adhere to these principles, your tricep is gonna explode. Now that's it for the video today, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Peace.